Hello everyone and welcome back to Math Merit. Today we are starting with a concept review. This means we are going to start going over all of the concepts that we have seen for these 6 weeks. Now, we're going to begin with our very first concept of this 6 weeks, which was literal equations and formulas. Now, if you might have missed the explanation of this concept thoroughly, you can always go back and watch the video for 9/22/2020. Okay? That is, let me write it down for you guys. So 09 September 22nd, 2020. That is the date that this video was posted for the class. That will explain it more thoroughly. Now, if you want to have the whole explanation for the concept as to what we saw in both Algebra 1 and Math Merit, then you will want to start from the video on 09/21/2020. This concept has to do with definitions and formulas. So again, if you don't have your notes for that concept, or you're not familiar with the concept at all because you haven't seen the video, I suggest that you go back and watch those videos before you continue with this one. So, again, if you have an idea of the concept and you just need a quick refresher, go back to September 22nd, 2020, and if you don't know the concept at all, don't remember what it was about, and you need to go through it again, go back to September 21st, 2020. This is an Algebra 1 video, and this is a Math Merit video, okay? So, feel free to do that if you need to. Now, let's go into our review with an example. So, we are starting off with this example. Now, this must look familiar to you if you have seen the videos that I have previously mentioned beforehand. But here we have an equation. We have two variables. We have three possible solutions for n. Well, three possible values for n, and we are trying to solve for m 3 different times. Okay? So let's start off by plugging in our first variable. In this case, the value of n is going to be -1. So let's see what that turns out. We have -5n times -1 is equal to 4m plus 8. Okay? Now, let's work it out. Start off by multiplying. When you multiply a negative and a negative, our answer will always be positive. So, we are left with a +5 equals 4m plus 8. What do we do next? We're trying to solve for m, so we try to get m alone. Here we go. Let's get rid of the 8 on this side. Subtract it on this side. We're left with -3 equals 4m. Okay? Now, here 4 is multiplied by m. Let's go ahead and divide it. Divide by 4, divide by 4. We are left with a fraction. So, there we go. We know that -3 over 4 is equal to m. There is our first value for m. So right under here, I'm going to put m equals -3/4 for our first value. Let's go into our next. Now, following the same exact steps we just took, this time we're plugging in a 0. We have -5 times 0 is equal to 4m plus 8. 5 times 0 is 0. -5 times 0 is also 0 because whatever you times 0 is 0. Is equal to 4m plus 8. We're trying to get rid of our 8, so we have to subtract it to both sides, we are left with negative 8 is equal to 4m. Now again, it's multiplied, so we are going to be dividing. We divide. How many times does 4 go into negative 8? Now our 4 is positive, so our answer is going to have to be negative. So negative what? How many times does 4 go into 8? Twice. So it'll be negative 2 is equal to m. Now we have our second value for m. Let's move on to get our third and final value for m. To get our third and final value, following the same exact steps we have just took, plugging in 1 for n. So here we go. Negative 5 times 1 is equal to negative 5 is equal to 4m plus 8. Now again, getting rid of the 8 on both sides. We have two negatives, so we're going to add them. This will leave us with negative 13 is equal to 4m. Okay? Now, to get m alone, we are dividing by 4. Very simple, right? That's very simple. Now, how many times does 4 go into 13? It doesn't go into 13 evenly, but we're going to simplify it as much as we can. So, how many times is the most times that 4 can go into 13? 3, because 3 times 4 equals 12. That means that we would have 1 left over. So we know that 4 goes into 13 3 times, and another thing, keep in mind that our answer is negative because we're dividing by a positive number. So then, with the 1 that we have left over, because 4 times 3 is 12, and we have 1 left over because we're dividing 13, it's going to stay as a fraction, 3 and 1/4, okay? And that is the simplest way that this is. That's the most we can simplify it in better terms, okay? So our third and final value for m is negative 3 and 1/4. Okay, simple enough. Let's move on. Very well. Now that we went over that example, I know this concept was a bit more extensive than the rest, but that is why that is the only concept we will be reviewing today. So, for your assignment, I want you to follow the same exact steps that I just followed to solve for this equation. So, we have 2n equals 4m plus 6, and we have our 3 values for n. So remember, you're solving the same equation 3 different times, and you're giving me 3 different values for m. If you have any questions or something didn't seem clear, you can always reference those 2 videos that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, or just ask for help. I'm here to help you guys. So I hope to be hearing back from everyone very, very soon, and I hope you all have a very wonderful day. Goodbye.